Welcome everyone to After the Bell with Jeff Meacham. I guess that makes me Jeff Meacham. Yeah, just throwing that out there. Today's show is not brought to you by this book, but I'm plugging it anyway. I haven't read it yet. This is Goldust's book. And Goldust, I know the gimmick is you're supposed to take the picture in the kitchen, and like I said on Twitter, our kitchen is pretty much a walking space with a fridge and a sink. But I will get in the kitchen as soon as this is over. I will take that picture. Alright? Alright. Anyway. Put it down nicely since it's a present. Birthday present to myself, folks, because I wanted that book for a long time. Alright. On to the question. Speaking of the Attitude Era, this is from Warrior for Life 21. My question is, after seeing the... Oh, that's old. That's old. Hang on. Sorry. I don't know why this ended up staying. Okay, I'm here. Here we go. Okay. Wrong question. Mr. Ryder or Riot. Here we go. What are your thoughts on TNA's new show in India called Ring Ka King? It has a lot of people from TNA and Chavo Guerrero as well, Luke Gallows, Joey Ryan, etc. We've talked about Ring Ka King on, I know Dad's, because we talked about Ring Ka King as far as the guys from that roster being on our fantasy roster, which, by the way, thank you all so much for the overwhelming response to that. Oh my God. 40-something comments, 600-something views. The numbers are climbing, even as I say. 732 views. It's went up 100 and something since I walked through the door today. Jeez. It's amazing. Anyway, thank you guys for watching that. We will definitely do more epic episodes like that. Probably never, because we just light lazy. But you know, we'll try. We'll try to do something special for you guys so often. As far as Ring Ka King, I would like to see more of that. I've been trying to look it up on YouTube. I'm trying to research that promotion. It looks like a really cool company. I mean, you got a lot of TNA people there. You've got Chavo there. You've got Luke Gallows, Joey Ryan, Harry Smith is over there. You know, just a lot of great talent that isn't nearly enough being showcased here in this country, and they're getting their second chances, if you will, over in India. And it's just awesome to see guys like Chavo and Joey Ryan and Luke Gallows getting an opportunity that they wouldn't get in this country. I think it's amazing. Rexo619, who is the bigger pervert in WWE? Vince McMahon, Jerry the King Lawler, or Mae Young? Also, Casa 18 for Broski of the Week. Thank you for the Broski of the Week plug. Although if Zach's been continuing to kiss the host key, I don't want Broski of the Week anymore. I'm good on that. It's Vince. Because Vince writes Jerry being a pervert. Vince writes Mae being a pervert. Vince is the most perverted of all of them. He's a sick old man. Alright. Let's get a picture of Philip. I'm going to steal that from mine because mine's all grainy and crappy. Off topic. Okay. Jacob Beasley. Do you think WWE will allow blood for Triple H vs. Undertaker Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania? They almost have to. I mean, in reality, this is going to be The Undertaker's last go-around. More than likely, it'll be Triple H's last big go-around, if not his last one, period. They've got to go all the way, like Triple H said. They've got to go to the end. And with Shawn Michaels refereeing, you know, there's going to be drama, there's going to be bloodletting, there's going to be just all-around mayhem and destruction with all three guys, I got to believe. So for it not to be blood would be a mistake. I think they need to have definitely... Blood would add to the drama. No question. I like this one. I read this one, and I can't wait to read it to you all. Acadia MLS. It has been rumored that Cena's rant on The Rock on February 20th was a thought shared by many wrestlers in the back, one of them even contacting a wrestling news website anonymously to share his take on the situation. To make it short, it was saying that he was out for himself, trying to regain the audience he lost doing Disney movies, and the fact he contributed to no one but himself over the past year in the WWE. Do you think that such backstage criticism on The Rock is legitimate and justified? What are your thoughts on the whole situation now that we have this anonymous perspective? Even your own boys in the back are outing you, Dwayne. You gotta love it. You know, I have been very, very outspoken about my opinion about Dwayne Johnson and his comeback to WWE since February 14th of last year. made no bones, made no qualms about the fact that he needs to be gone again, shouldn't have come back, and that he does not, deserve our respect, our love, anything like that. And, the whole thing in Boston last night or whatever it was just reaffirms my position that he is a douche. And sorry for the language, I apologize, but he has it coming. Dwayne Johnson needs to go away, and the fact that one of the guys in the back even has expressed this point of view that he has been in this for himself and not for the good of the company, which is very true. He wouldn't have come back if it wasn't a big WrestleMania payday. No question in my mind. And I hope John just owns him in his own backyard come April 1st. Can't wait. The True Norwegian One. Hey, great show, guys. Even though I'm over the writer stuff, Casa 18 for both seasons of the week. Okay. I have a question on the last Raw. Cena. Oh, this is not the last. This is a couple weeks ago when Cena was cutting a promo on, I believe, Eve, and said, "I'm back" to the camera before he delivered the awesome rant on Eve and then later The Rock. It seems like he won't be turning heel, but I think he'll be more Dr. of Thugonomics, but still face. Do you think WWE will steer him toward a face with an edge like Punk, or continue with the BA star Superman with a Heart of Gold that we've had the last 5 years? JJ and I and Mikey and Jade and everybody have talked about this grand heel turn that everybody's been talking about, and I'd like to see it. I'd like to see a heel turn, but I do like the John Cena babyface with an edge. I am liking this guy. I'm liking him just owning The Rock at every turn, owning Dwayne at every turn, just putting people in their place like he used to, but not so dark and Doctor of Thugonomics to the point where he was, being a people basher, just a Dwayne basher. And I'm liking that guy. And if he doesn't turn all the way heel, which we all still hope he does, then maybe we can set up for this John for now, this Dwayne. Yikes. Rabbit Pit 189. Which of the matches booked for WrestleMania so far do you think will be the curtain jerker? IC title. You don't think so? You think I'll actually put the world title as the curtain jerker again? I gotta believe they'll learn from that mistake, because putting the World Championship as the first match was horrid booking, and the IC title has opened up the match at WrestleMania at least twice in a row. I know that. They did it at 17 and 18. I gotta believe they'll have that. Yes, sir.
If I may interject, I've been trying to be quiet about it because
okay.
people get on the talking in the background, blah, blah, blah.
That's all right.
The main reason I think it's going to be Bryan versus Sheamus is because you want to start Mania off hot. You want to get the crowd into it. And what can Cody and Big Show really do that'll get the crowd just roaring? We're talking about the Big Show.
Yeah. And last year's opener was pretty hot because Edge and Alberto tore it down, and then Edge destroyed his car.
I'm against it.
I am too.
Especially, because, again, the Rumble winner will not be the main event. They'll be the curtain jerker. But you're not going to put Punk Jericho to start the show.
No.
That needs to be middle of the card at least.
Yeah.
You're not going to put Hell in a Cell to jerk the curtain.
Probably the main event. And
you're not going to put Rock Cena to jerk the curtain. That will more than likely be the main event. They've been building it for a year.
I understand that, but now that you're putting the two...
Rock hatred aside.
It's not even the Rock hatred. It is simply the fact that you are having arguably the end of a legacy, the end of an era, as they've been calling it, inside Hell in a Cell with Mr. WrestleMania as the referee.
I know.
That should be the main event.
Should be, but they've been building Rock Cena for the year. That more than likely will be main event.
Yeah.
So, that's just my logic on it, is they're going to jerk the curtain with Bryan versus Sheamus. The two can go out there, have a brawl of a match, because Sheamus isn't the most technically sound. So they'll hide that weakness by making it a brawl, which Bryan can do too.
Oh, yes.
And do it that way. Unless something gets out in the coming weeks that could steal that potential spot.
Right. Well, Money in the Bank, if they put it back in, I've heard they've taken it out because of Wade. So, but that it keeps going back and forth day to day. So, you know, they could put it back in and put somebody else down the briefcase.
Maybe.
And who knows. I wanted to ask a more economical type question for you on this episode. This is from Extreme Animal 23. With the matches announced so far for WrestleMania, what are your predictions on the buy rate of the pay-per-view? What is your opinion on the fact that the ticket-wise, the show's not sold out? I would believe that it would sold out due to being Rock versus Cena, but it is not from the knowledge I have gathered. Thanks for your time. Casa 18 Studios for Boasty of the Week. Boasty of the Year. There you go.
Woo woo woo, you know it.
That's right. WrestleMania is not sold out. WrestleMania buy rates have been leveled out the last few years. They haven't done what they should be for WrestleMania. I don't pay attention to the exact numbers of buy rates. I don't have that stat on me. I'm not Stat Boy. Ask Stat Boy that question. Please, because he'll answer it. He'll actually do the research. He'll actually look it up. And I'll give him something to do. It won't be high, even with Rock Cena, even with Taker Triple H, even with the title matches. It'll be where it's been, if not a smidge higher, but it won't be where it should be, and that sucks. Because it looks so far what they've announced 4 weeks out looks decent, better than the matches announced at this time going in last year, I believe. I'm looking forward to every match so far. Last year, I could not claim that. Ask this man. We were sitting at home. This wasn't even my home yet. We were just BSing, prior. It's like, this is going to suck.
During the infancy stages of Dad's on Wrestling and Casa de 18 Studios.
Yeah, because we were talking about during the WrestleMania build-up that we had all these grand cards we reviewed over the last 20 years, and it's like, now we come to this. So, yeah, I hope the card on paper delivers. Mr. RVD Fan 11, what do you think Jericho's going to do after the Punk feud? Jericho said on Raw he came back to WWE for one reason, to face Punk. This led me to believe that he'll disappear after the Punk feud and do more stuff with Fozzy and other things. What is your opinion? Thanks, love the show, have been a big fan of yours for years. Well, you watched during the dark years, so I appreciate that. I say dark years. Without the dark years, if you want to call them that, I wouldn't, be where I am. So, anyway. Jericho has said this is why he's back for Punk. And whether the feud ends at WrestleMania, whether the feud ends at Extreme Rules, wherever, I think it's going to be the same situation as like a Triple H, Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels. I think Jericho is going to be one of those guys where the era is over. And I think Jericho is going to either prove he is the best to Punk and to us all, which I think he's one of the best ever. The first ever unified champion. It's funny. Lance Storm brought this up on Twitter during the show on Raw. He is not the first undisputed champion. You've got guys back in the 1900s, 10s, and 20s that were undisputed champions. Randy Macho Man Savage was called the undisputed WWF champion. Ric Flair was called the undisputed WWF champion after he won the Royal Rumble. Jericho is the first unified WWE champion. That is a correct term. And I will use that from now on. And I encourage the rest of you to answer the bat phone right now. I definitely encourage you guys to use Unify when you talk about Chris Jericho, but he needs to prove that guy still exists, the guy from 11 years ago. That Unified champion is the guy that is still wrestling to this day. Jericho can still be the man if he wants to be. And I think if he wins at WrestleMania, he will prove that he's still got it, like they've said about Dwayne. He's still got it. Jericho, I think, still does. And we'll see what happens come April 1st. I'd like to see him continue on, but if he leaves, then he's in a good place to leave. Cross Johnson 316, last question. This is kind of a question that makes me scratch my head a little bit, because some of these guys in here are... Who do you think is better? Okay. If all these guys in here, one of these guys just doesn't belong here. You figure out which one at home. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, CM Punk, Chris Jericho, Zack Ryder, or Ric Flair. I don't want to throw my phone. Shawn Michaels, arguably the greatest ever. Bret Hart, one of the most technically sound ever. You know, who else was in that group? CM Punk, arguably the greatest right now. Jericho, arguably one of the greatest of all time. Ric Flair, hard to argue the greatest of all time. Zack Ryder. I love Zack. We all love Zack on this show and on the channel. No. Oh no. As far as the greatest of those guys, I gotta go with Shawn Michaels. Not only longevity, not only charisma, not only in-ring ability, but just the ability to shoulder a company on his back when he was at his worst. Still, shoulder on. Soldier on. God, I'm tired. Alright. That's my opinion, and it should be yours. Go buy this. Go to your kitchens. Take your pictures. Get a Gold Dust follow. We'll see you next time on After the Bell.